I was absolutely shocked to see this result in my community page. I didn't think that this result was actually going to be like this. Honestly, I thought that Harald would get a lot of love. Honestly, does this mean that Harald is absolutely not the community's favorite in Rise of Kingdoms? So I'm a little bit confused. That's why we're making this video. So I want to hear from you guys that are watching this video. What do you guys really think of Harald Sigurdsson? Because in my previous video, when we did a video for Harald, I talked about how underrated Harald is. It seems like that video did not help sway anybody in here that are following the channel, because Harald still is an underrated commander. My name is Shinchi42. In today's video, you see this poll that we did. We're going to talk about this today. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notification on for regular Rise of Kingdoms content. So as you guys can see, we have about 902 votes. 32% said Saladin. Only 14% said Harald. 54% said YSG. All right, this is one commander to fight your KVK war, and who will it be? So it's very interesting that very few have selected Harald Sigurdsson. And a lot of players selected YSG. Now, I have a few assessment in here why people have chosen this. First thing, I think, is that since YSG is much easier to access early on, I believe it comes in... I don't know if it still comes in the Wheel of Fortune, though. I think they've changed it. But previously, majority of older players who are already subscribed to the channel have probably unlocked YSG already, and was able to get in the early stage. But I think now, if you want to get YSG, you will have to buy it from the daily offer. You will have to go and switch here, and you will have to find YSG. And to get YSG, you have to go and confirm that and switch it up. So you need to buy all these daily ones to get YSG. So that's one reasoning why I think why people have voted for YSG. Another thing is that YSG is really a very versatile commander. You can pair YSG up with anybody that you want. So that is totally acceptable. I wasn't really surprised that YSG would be a very popular pick. That's why we put this in this, suggestion. But I really did not expect only 14% would really vote for Harald. I was actually expecting that Harald might at least win or be close to YSG. The reason why I say that is because when we did our poll previously, a lot of people actually have voted for infantry, then archer, then cabs. So that is like absolutely very intriguing that Harald is not getting the love. Or is it just Harald is that players do not like Harald? Harald is a very good commander that, to me, I call it tanky, but a lot of people don't like the word tanky for Harald. It's a infantry commander that deals a lot of damage to multiple targets at once. That counterattack damage is absolutely wonderful. Now, I get the Saladin choice, though, because this is a lot of free-to-play, and we have a lot of free-to-play that follows the channel, because you can do a 5-5-5-1 for Saladin, which is, very cheap and very reasonable. And, with that setup, you can definitely invest other sculptures that you instead of putting into Saladin into other commanders. So I get the 32% for Saladin, but I still do not get the 14% for Harald. But I guess if things change, though, of course the percentage will also go down. But 14% on a Harald is very low, considering there's a lot of infantry players that plays this game more than archers and more than cavs. So is Harald just a commander that players do not find amusing? what if I change it into Guan Yu? Would it change the percentage? Would Guan Yu, be more of a popular choice towards Saladin, towards YSG? I'm not so sure. But rest assured, Harald is a very good commander, and I think players are really sleeping on it. If you're not getting Harald, you are missing out on this infantry commander. Harald is a good commander. Honestly, out of all of this, if there's only one commander that I would pick out of all of this, I wouldn't even pick YSG. Let's say it's going to be versus each other. Let's say it's going to be Harald versus YSG, all right, versus Saladin, all right. Let's say even if it's all maxed out, right? Who do you think? Where's Saladin? All right, so Saladin, right? So who do you think is going to win if we do YSG versus Harald and versus Saladin, which I still couldn't find. There we go. There's a Saladin. Who do you think is going to win? I will put my money on Harald. Let's just talk about 101, right? 101. Mano mano. Harald will definitely beat it. Honestly, they can even 2-1 would probably even do, like, Harald would probably still do a massive damage. Now, I've been flirting a little bit with the infantry. I've been deciding and thinking about leaving archers. I realize is that archers has been really fun, but I feel like I've always been an archer infantry setup. I don't think I could go to cabs because there's so much commanders that I'm really missing for cabs. It would be a total rebuild if I go for cabs. I have some of the infantry commanders already, so I could flirt a little bit with the infantry commanders. I already got Harald as 5 max in here. I just need to work on some of them. Even if I don't max it out, I think it will still be a very useful commander. I think Harald is one of those infantry commanders that will have a long-term value. I think it will be much more long-term value than the Martel and Richard, in my opinion, because this commander is able to really do significant performance in the open field battle. Now, YSG, though, it's funny because a lot of people still pick YSG, but in reality, as much as I love YSG is gonna melt, right? It doesn't really have ability to absorb all that damage, and plus being archers, it's just gonna melt. That YSG is going to melt. It wouldn't even stand a chance. And yeah, you'll have the AoE damage, but you'll be out so quick in the battlefield. And I was really surprised that Harald was not picked as much. So that was ultimately very surprising to me. That at least Harald was not second. Honestly, it was third place. I mean, it's okay even being third place, but 14%? That's very low. If they were like all pretty close, that would have been a lot more interesting, right? If it's like, 33% each, maybe close to that. Maybe if YSG wasn't at 54%, then that it was like literally 54% was YSG. So many players love the YSG. And I hope people voted in that scenario not based on what commanders they have, but the actual performance of the commander, because that was what we're actually looking for. So in this video, I want to know, does things change into your decision if you have voted before? About 900 people voted, so we should get about 900 comments, right? When you have voted, did you really voted to say you want YSG as your only commander to fight in Rise of Kingdoms? So you have only one. Because I feel like you wouldn't last. I think those 14%, if they do a one-on-one with you, they might do a much better result. And now you can say that archers beat infantry, but we know the fact that YSG can't even knock out Richard, right? In the first KVK that you'll experience is so hard. So think about it a little bit in here. Does your decision change, or is this going to be still the same? We're not talking about having a secondary commander. We're only talking about one commander. Now, it may not make sense too much, but we're just kind of having fun with a little bit of a discussion in here. If it's 1 versus 1, who do you think you're going to choose within this selection? Besides that, rockers, I want to know your opinion. Make sure you comment, because I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for you to comment as well and kind of read it. We want to hear your justification for picking your selection. Anyway, I'll see you again next time.